Yo, it's John O'Brien, and this is Money and Wealth on the Black Effect Network on iHeartRadio. Make sure you get my book, Financial Literacy for All. You sign up to this podcast, tell all your friends about it. It's my Ministry of Finance. Every Thursday drops new episodes. Make sure you also support Operation Hope. Sign up for coaching and counseling, become an 1865 member. It's my philanthropy, by the way. And follow me on all social channels because we're always bringing the heat. And here's some heat today. People say they're standing on business. Don't know what they're talking about half the time. What business you standing on? It's a nice phrase. Do we even understand the difference between business and busyness? All right? People say, oh, I'm a small business owner, or I'm a business owner, or I'm an entrepreneur. Do you know that there's a difference in those phrases? I'm sorry, there's a difference in those definitions, right? Hello. So a business owner, a small business owner, is modeling a standard business plan. So you're a business owner because you own a Chick-fil-A franchise. You're a business owner if you own a McDonald's franchise. You're a business owner if you own a barber shop. You're a business owner if you own a nail salon. You're a business owner if you own a traditional restaurant. You're a business owner if you own a trash compacting business, a plumbing business, an electric contracting business. Yes, you are a business owner. There are many. You're a office supply company owner. Yes, you're a business owner. You're a consulting company owner. Yes, you're a business owner. Congratulations, it's a big deal. It's a serious situation. You should be very proud of yourself. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like this is, I'm not like joking. Like, you know, you're a real business owner, right? And you should be proud of that. And so in that situation, my friend Howard Hugh and I, we love this word, situation. It's a situation, man. Everything's a situation. You either can't explain it, don't want to get into the details. You just call it it's a situation. It was a situation with her and him, but yeah, I didn't really understand the situation, and I didn't want to get involved in the situation. Man, the situation was crazy. It became a whole other kind of situation. All right, back to the topic. So, an entrepreneur is different. An entrepreneur is crazy. I'm an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur works 18 hours a day to keep from getting a job. An entrepreneur literally creates something out of nothing, a new innovative idea. An entrepreneur is somebody who takes a restaurant and adds a club and connects it with a sanitation company, and then I'm making this up, and connects it with a plumbing company, and then connects it with artificial intelligence, and then rewires the whole thing, and then does it during the day versus at night. It's a new concept on an old thing. It's a new concept on a new thing. It's a new thing. It's an innovation. It's a creation from nothing, and then proving that new thing actually has value, and then making it valuable, and then taking that value to market, and then creating marketable value from that thing. Here's one example: business person versus entrepreneur. People use these phrases interchangeably. They're not interchangeable. You can be an entrepreneur and be a small business owner. You can be an entrepreneur and be a big business owner. You can be an entrepreneur and not be a business owner. You can have an entrepreneurial mindset and run a nonprofit, run your life just as almost like an entrepreneur mindset. If you're just running your life, what might be an upgrade on being a hustler, and I mean hustler in the positive sense of the phrase. You can be a business owner and be entrepreneurial, and you can be a business owner and be an entrepreneur, but don't presume because you're a business owner you are an entrepreneur. That is a bridge too far. And words matter, definitions matter. And by the way, don't be an entrepreneur and presume that you can. There are people who are entrepreneurs who are horrible business owners. Need to stay a million ways away from actually running and owning a business. This is analogous to a great recording artist, a great track star, athlete, or a great performer who has a business manager who handles the left brain work while they handle the right brain work. Left brain is analytical, 2 plus 2 equals 4 and all that stuff. Right brain is creative, making the best, most amazing music, whatever on the planet. But don't think because you have a genius in one area, it automatically means you have a genius in another. That is a mistake. To assume is to make an ASS out of you and me. Literally, that's how it's spelled. So don't assume, right? It's a horrible thing to do in business or life, is to make assumptions. Just ask the question. Don't assume, just ask the questions and get the answers. So now let's get into and unpack the substance of titles and titling in business. Before I get to that, let me deal with one huge misnomer. I've already dealt with one misnomer, which is not so huge, but business versus entrepreneur is just something that irritates me because I am an entrepreneur, I am a business owner, I am an executive. These are 3 different categories, and there are 3 different talents. I'm also a get-it-done person. I'm all about execution. I'm also a thought leader in some ways. These are 5 different categories of talent. And so you want to be the Michael Jordan of your space, right? Michael Jordan was not just a great basketball player. He had intellectual genius. He had strategy. He had placement. He knew timing. He knew, anyway. So he was a high frequency thinker. And he was very observant he could figure out what his opponent was doing, whoever was assigned to him. Within 1.5 games, he had figured that guy out. So he was paying attention not to his own game. He understood his own game. He was paying attention to the other guy, how he played the game, so he could map out how to reverse engineer success in that situation. Here's a bigger get that's important. Leadership versus management. Leaders versus managers. I made this mistake. Me, John Hope Bryant, I screwed this up time and time again as I built close to 50 entities now around the world, 3 of which are the largest in their category. The largest minority owner of single-family rental homes in America company I built and sold, and still have an ownership interest in it, but I don't run it anymore. That's the Promise Homes company, sold a couple years ago. Built and still lead. That's Operation Hope, largest nonprofit financial literacy. Promise Homes is for-profit. Largest financial literacy, financial coaching organization in America. 40 plus states, 300 physical offices, 1,500 physical and satellite offices, millions of clients, billions of dollars deployed. On the for-profit side, few $100 million in that one business of activity in transactional value. Then the largest financial inclusion holding company in the country, 400 employees, all that stuff. Okay, so does that make me a leader or a manager? Well, I'm both. In fact, I'm more than that if you listen to the titles I mentioned earlier. My mistake was that I could take somebody who was not even a manager, a tactician, and turn them into a manager. No, jump over management and make them a leader by giving them a title, because I like them. You can put wings on a pig and hope it'll fly. It won't. If you put wings on a pig and hope it'll fly, it's not the pig's fault. It's yours. That's what I was doing. I was taking people I cared about, I liked, I thought were amazing, giving them a title, giving them a paycheck because they said they could do it, they wanted it, they desired it, told me they could handle it. Don't worry, had no experience in the situation they're talking to me about, telling me they could do. Romanticize what I was doing by looking at what I was doing. Oh my God, that's so easy. It's not easy. And just fell flat on their face half the time, and sometimes ruin the relationship because I'm pushing them to be the best that I see in them, but what I see in them is not what they see in themselves. How I see them is not how they see themselves. I remember there was one dude who worked for me, and really talented in many areas. Great in community, great with kids, great with anything black, as in black issues, great personality. And one day I noticed that on the business card, the signature line on the email that we assign to them at the company and I pay for, the email title had changed to regional CEO. And I'm like, well, hell, I don't have a regional CEO. I checked with my upper management, like, did I change titles? Did I approve title changes and I just don't remember it? No. You have market presidents and market leaders. You don't have a regional CEO. You're the CEO, John. Well, thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that. So I call this person. I'm like, look, you're a CEO, chief executive officer. That's what that means. You got to write a check or cause checks to be written. Like, you got to hunt. CEO's a hunter. And this person didn't want to hunt. They wanted to floss. They wanted to have fun. They wanted to enjoy themselves. They wanted to chill. They wanted to go to parties and receptions and go to the White House and go do what they do well. But I'm like, that's only part of the job. It's a very small part of the job, actually. I hate going to these receptions and all this stuff when all I'm doing is just talking about blah, blah, blah. My problems have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? And so this person told me that they were good at a word I'd never heard of before, ideation. And I'm like, wow, okay, it just taught me something. And I've learned that word ideation is a really important word, but I also realized I had put this person in the wrong job. And to their credit, they quit. And but I had been paying them for a long time to not do the job that I asked them to do. They decided to do the job they wanted to do. I mean, I'd come in and they'd be in my office doing photo shoots in my office, right? Because I was out traveling trying to raise money. And I had a budget and they had to meet the budget. I said, if you're gonna have this title, you gotta meet the budget. I mean, you wanna get rid of somebody quickly, give them a fundraising goal. So I said, yeah, you gotta go, the payroll is X, and rent and utilities are Y, and for this region, if you wanna be a regional CEO, you gotta raise some regional money. And well, they were gone pretty quick after that. Over 32 years, I've seen it all, right? And I've learned to admire and respect people for their talents. That wasn't that person's mistake. That was mine. I screwed that up because I wanted them to be this and that, and I gave them a lot of free rein, and they took it and took some more and some more and some more, and then blamed it on me when it didn't work out. Oh, it's okay. That's it's what happens when you're in the big seat. So leaders, So somebody who's a tactical leader is somebody who you give a task to and you say, do X, and they go do X. But if you don't tell them to do X, they may just sit there. They're a tactical leader. That's how their brain is wired. That's how the endorphins fire in their brain. Please write this down. Please take notes on what I'm saying. Please do not run an office, a department, a business, a party planning. Don't do anything. Don't run a club. Don't run a social event. Don't run a nonprofit, for-profit. Don't run your family. Unless you listen to this and understand, you got to put people in places, the soil where they'll grow. You take a plant and put it on concrete, it will die. I don't care how much you water it. You got to put that plant in the right soil and then water the soil and then nurture it, right? And so if you put the wrong person in the wrong soil or the wrong place and then lecture them about how they're not doing the thing that you have in your head, once again, you put wings on a pig and hope it'll fly. It's not the pig's fault, it's yours. You're the leader. Okay, I'm just giving away a bit of what's coming up when I describe these different titles. There's also founder, right? No organization will raise as much money in its infancy as when the founder's around, and founder's doing it because no one washes rental cars. People who just work someplace will just bounce and leave. The founder doesn't get a day off. He's not interested in a day off. They don't even think they're working. They're like, this is my passion. I love this, right? They're doing what they love. And that passion, that enthusiasm, that inner joy is infectious, and people want to buy into that because you don't do business with companies, you do business with people. It's about relationship capital, right? You don't need another attorney. Nobody needs to hire another attorney. There's one attorney for every 400 people in America. You don't need to hire another attorney. What you hire is somebody, you retain somebody you respect, you admire, you like, you love, they make you laugh, you trust them, they get you. And that's why you hire an attorney, even though there's one attorney for every 400 people, people still hiring attorneys, right? Accountants, the same thing, and so on and so forth. It's about relationships. Okay, so tactician, I've explained that. And then you have manager, which literally means to manage, right? By the way, I want you to unpack some of these words that I'm using, or society uses. Where does the word credit come from? It comes from the Latin word credito, which means credibility. It has nothing to do with money. What does the word capital come from? It comes from the Latin root word capitas, meaning knowledge in the head. It has nothing to do with capitalism and money. It's knowledge, your capital is in your head, human capital. And then capitalism is an extension of that, using your human capital to produce, and so on and so forth. Banking is a trust business. Banking literally is a trust business. It has nothing to do ultimately with money. Do you know a check is nothing more than something that has a barcode on it. It has the routing information, the bank account information. That's something that confirms this is you, and all you're doing is using that check to transfer value from you to somebody else, and signing it is giving the authorization. You can literally sign somebody's T-shirt and walk the T-shirt in the bank, or walk the person in the bank with a don't try this, by the way, and blame it on me. You'll have an argument with the bank for a long time. They'll be forced to sell to cash the T-shirt at some point, because it's legal tender if you did it right. But it'll become a waste of everybody's time, and you'll never be invited to that bank ever again. But literally, you can cash somebody's T-shirt because you can write all the information that's needed to cash the check on the T-shirt. That T-shirt becomes the check, so it's just a means of transferring value. Okay, back to the topic. So managers manage. They manage what you give them to manage. It's a box. It's a definition. It's predefined. Again, the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person, or a business person and an entrepreneur in this example. The business person has a predefined business plan. McDonald's has already told you what success looks like. Just follow the business plan. Chick-fil-A's already told you. Taco Bell's already told you. There's a business plan. If you follow it, there's a 80% chance, something over 50% chance that you'll be successful. With big franchises, maybe an 80, 90% chance you'll be successful, and hopefully also highly profitable. But you got to follow the business plan. So a manager is following a business plan within the business and they're managing that business, or that part of the business plan. Don't assume because you're a manager someplace that you have now the skills to be automatically a business owner. A lot of people I know do this, leave, cash out their 401k, are clueless the fact they have an assistant that's company paid for, a secretary, maybe they have expense account. They have, different from an expense report, by the way. Expense report is reimbursable. Expense account is what the company provides you to go entertain and do things on the company's dime, buy things on the company's dime. You have health insurance. You've got a free office. You've got travel. You have technology. I have friends who come to me like, I'm going to become an entrepreneur just like you, John. I'm going to go out here. I've got this idea. I listen to the idea. I'm like, well, the idea is a little harebrained, or the idea is light, or the idea is not tight, or the idea is a maybe. Now, what are you going to do again? Well, I'm about to leave this cushy job and this six-figure income and go out here, become an entrepreneur, and I'm using my 401k, my savings to do it. I'm like, no, don't do that. It's going to be a train wreck. And they get mad at me for telling them straight what I'm thinking, because I love them, and they crash. And then 2 years later, if they run through all their savings and then got a line of credit in their house, ran through that, had to then sell the house, want to then come to me and say, John, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I tried to tell you, you cursed me out. But they don't realize the hidden benefits of working inside of a company, and you're very successful because you have all this infrastructure around you. And so if you're in a Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 company, and you're a manager, is part of a larger team, and the business plan's already been redefined, the founder, the CEO has made it successful, all you got to do is execute on your management responsibilities, and you look like a star, but that doesn't mean that you are a star. It doesn't mean you're going to be a star in your own orbit, your own universe. You're a star in somebody else's orbit or universe, and that's why you're successful. I'm not saying you can't do it as an entrepreneur or a business owner. I'm just saying it's a completely different set of disciplines, right? As a manager, somebody else is doing everything else. As a business owner or an entrepreneur, you're doing everything else. Everything else is you, right? Hey, Joe, you doing that? Okay. Joanne, you doing that? Okay, you're Joe and Joanne. You're Joe and Joanne in this example. It's you talking to you, right? Okay, I'm 20 minutes into this podcast. I'm not giving you the definitions, the titles yet. Let me get into that. But I hope you found this entertaining. I certainly have. It's been good therapy. And then my favorite position, which I misdiagnosed me for a long time, my favorite definition is leader. A leader sees a problem and wants to solve it. Problems have beginnings, middles, and ends. Managers don't see problems and want to solve it. I've learned this one big rule about being a founder and a hunter. If I'm gonna get a no, I want to get a no from the boss. I want to get a no from the chief executive officer, the founder, somebody who writes checks, not the one who cashes it, the one who writes checks, the one who makes strategic decisions, vision decisions. I want that person to tell me, no, this is not a good idea, because it takes the same energy to get to succeed big or to succeed small. It's the same energy. To get a no from somebody that 15 levels below the boss or the boss, it's the same energy. I'd rather get a no from the boss. I may learn something from the no. But a manager's job, listen to me now, the manager's job is more often than not to tell you no. I don't care what the idea is. You know why? Please listen to this. This is drop the mic. Because the manager knows this. They're saying to themselves, this is a great, maybe great idea, crazy idea, unique idea, new product been brought to me. I've been using this old thing. It's not as good, but I don't get fired for saying no. I get fired for saying yes to the wrong thing, so the answer is no. I'm gonna repeat this. This is what a manager does now. It's not personal. Business is not personal. It's a gladiator sport. Don't take it personal. Listen, the manager's job is to tell you no. Unless you get very lucky. Unless they like you. There's a relationship. You're hooking them up in some way. Who knows? I don't know. You showed up at the right time, the right day, asking the right question when they were vulnerable or didn't have a solution. But typically, the manager's job, the manager 15 below levels, 20 levels below the boss, their job is really to tell you no, because they don't get fired for saying no. No one will ever know they told you no. They'll say they're going to tell the boss or tell their team. They know they won't. They're not telling anybody. You're going to put that your idea in a round file, the trash can, or a file cabinet, and hope nobody ever sees it. They're going to write a memo to themselves and file it away. Their job is self-preservation, by the way, to keep their job. Their thinking is, by the way, wrong thinking. This is like the biblical story of the talents, where God rewarded people with, these three people gave these different talents, and one person took the talents, and I think it was 3 talents, and went and made a bunch of money, and talents was like money back then. And then the person had, I think, 2 talents, and they went and did real great too. I'm probably getting the number of talents wrong, so don't jam me up on that. But the person who had 1 talent just buried it. And when the time came, it's like, look, I've saved this 1 talent. How did you save it? I just buried it. But you didn't grow it? No, I just buried it. I want to make sure I didn't lose it. They gave that talent to the people who made money on the other talent, because they were able to produce. They were able to, those were leaders. So a manager's job, they think, is self-preservation. And they don't get fired for saying no. They get fired for saying yes to the wrong thing. The answer is no. The leader's job is to say yes, because you don't grow the business unless you're saying yes to something. I went into this banker's office. I wish I could remember this guy's name. I would love to give him credit. One of the reasons I love doing this podcast is I can finally give people public credit for all the stuff they did to help me in the course of my life. This bank was in Lancaster, California. And this banker was running this one location, Jack Cephas. It was Antelope Valley Bank. It was bought 3 times by somebody at the bank. At this point, it's part of a larger conglomerate, but it was called Antelope Valley Bank. This guy named was Jack Cephas, good old boy. And I went to his office, tried to get $1,000 for Operation Hope. I drove an hour and a half from LA, 2 hours, wherever it is, to try to get $1,000 donation for Operation Hope. But really, I wanted the relationship capital with this guy. So I went to go to the boss man. I didn't go to the community reinvestment officer or the community affairs officer. But no disrespect to that. I'd have done that if Jack told me no, or he doesn't want to see me. Because I really, at the end of the day, I want at least $1,000 and the relationship with the bank. But I want to know from the boss. I went, and it was one branch. And it was a glass office. He was in the middle of the glass office, old school banking. And his desk, his mahogany desk, was right in the middle of this glass office, in the middle of the one branch bank, right? And I went in to go see Jack, and I sat down. I had chutzpah. I had all kind of you know, you just couldn't stop me. I sat down at this guy's desk, and I felt comfortable with him after a little bit. I said, Jack, can I be honest with you? Sure, John. Can I call you John? Sure. Can I call you Jack? Sure. Why are you so lazy? Excuse me? No one's ever talked to him before in his life. And I wasn't disrespectful. I thought it was being legit. Like, you've got your feet up on the desk. There's nothing on your desk but a newspaper. There's a phone on your desk, your feet, and the newspaper. And you're sitting there talking to me, but this was happening before I got there. Shouldn't you be doing stuff? He said, John, you clearly don't understand what a CEO does. Okay, explain it to me. He said, John, I've got an underwriter to underwrite loans. I've got a credit analyst to do analysis of loans. I've got an appraiser to appraise loans. I've got a receptionist to make sure that irritable people like you don't get to my desk next time. Because you need, when you're a leader, you need headspace. You need clarity to be able to do what you do, so you don't need a bunch of distractions. I walk through life, by the way, to this day, consciously oblivious of most things around me, because it just doesn't matter. Somebody asked me what I tell my 12-year-old or 15 or 18-year-old self. They asked me that a few days ago, asked me for some advice on leadership. I say, ignore the noise. Most people, in what they're rambling about, low frequency conversations, just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Gossiping about people, it just doesn't matter. Ignore it, keep it moving. Eagles don't fly in packs. You've never seen a flock of eagles. Eagles are high altitude birds, but buzzards love packs. They're low altitude birds. And turkeys got wings and can't fly. It is profiling. Okay, we're getting into other title definitions here. So anyway, so Jack told me, you really understand what I did. So we went through all the different roles of everybody at the bank, really trying to, it was a great rap, right? A rap on making John look stupid, and taught me a lesson. And he said, my job is to read this newspaper, which you call a newspaper, it's the Wall Street Journal. My job is to get in every day with a clear head, no distractions, look out here through this glass and see what's going on in the marketplace in my city, in my region. Read the local newspaper, see what's going on, crime and opportunity and trends. Read the Wall Street Journal, see what's going on in markets and money in the world. And then they pick up that phone and connect these dots and grow some business for this bank. And the only reason you got here is that I answered the phone when you called. And if I was busy appraising and doing that, I wouldn't be able to answer your call, and you seem like a pretty special young man. What can I do for you? And he gave me that $1,000, by the way. And we became dear friends. I called him a few years ago to say thank you to him. That was one of my first donors to Operation Hope. Operation Hope is now a $72 million annual operating budget. We've directed $4.5 billion in capital, millions of clients. But it all started with this one client, one person, helping one person, get hooking up with one partner, getting commitment from one donor, one thing at a time. All right, so now I've broken down in broad sense, leadership as differentiated from management. So Jack's job was to say yes to me. That's the job of the boss. But if you can't get to the boss, get to the manager, and the manager's job is self-preservation. So what do you want to do with the manager? Make them look good. Help you go. There you go. So it's your idea, but it's their idea. It's their credit. All right. Okay. I remember Ambassador Andrew Young told me one day I was working with President Bush, the son. I really loved the father and didn't know the son very well, but I was working with Bush, the son, and I wasn't really feeling him at that time. I gained respect for him over time. And he'd given me a shot to create a financial literacy council, and he told me in a meeting with the cabinet, his cabinet, that he was going to do this, but 8 months later, it hadn't been done, and I was frustrated, and so Ambassador Young was in D.C., I was visiting him, Washington, D.C. Well, how are things going? Oh, it's crazy, it's not happening, and these people, I'm not sure they're serious. And he looked at me and said, John, stop it. Be skeptical, he said. Ambassador Andrew Young, Dr. King's right arm, civil rights movement, got made modern Atlanta as an international city. Be skeptical, but don't be cynical. Because if you're cynical, you've lost hope. Your job is to go in there and listen to that man, President Bush. Assume he's a good man with bad counsel. Assume he's a good man with bad counsel. Your job is to go in there and give that man good counsel, good advice, and make him look good. And when he does the thing you're asking him to do, it's not your idea, it's his. Make him look good, because there's only one client in Washington, D.C. It's the President of the United States of America. You got to make him, or her, hopefully one of these days, look good. And I did exactly what he said. It's not about you. It's not about me here, as in you. It's we. You've got to do the work for we here. It's about civil rights. You can't be a civil rights leader unless you have a civil rights mentality, which is about the we. It's about helping all of God's children to come up. You're our ambassador for free will. You're the dean of black capitalism in this example. Go teach, and the greatest teacher is a great student. Be a student now and learn how to listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk. I shut up and went over and cut that deal and created the first ever President's Advisory Council on Financial Literacy. Became vice chairman of it, chairman of the committee in the underserved. The chairman was Charles Schwab. By the way, that was one of the president's friends, was a donor to the president. He had no involvement in this council whatsoever. I did all the work myself, but I was told the last minute the president was going to make Charles Schwab, who had the name and the credibility and was a billionaire even back then, he was going to make him chairman because that was his boy. And I was like, okay. And I was going to be a member of the council. I wasn't concerned about titles. And when I flew in the day that they signed the executive order to make financial literacy the policy of the U.S. federal government, yes, I did that. Although it did, there's still more work to do because we need to make it the policy of the country and put it in schools. But that's a whole other thing. But when he was signing the executive order, he said, "Where's John's name on this thing? Why does John have a title?" So the president, and again, I did not have a great, not admiration. I just didn't, I brought the hype about who George Bush was, the son, George W. Bush, versus having my own opinion about him. He was actually a nice guy, very nice guy. He did more for Africa than any president before or since. Yeah, I said it. I've said great things about, I love Bill Clinton. I love, anyway, Obama was a dignity-rich president, no drama, Obama. I've said Johnson, I've said great things about Democratic presidents, and there's some great things about Republican presidents. George H.W. Bush was fantastic. George W. Bush was a moderate, actually. George W. Bush people would love to have George W. Bush back now, based on the crazy stuff they're seeing these days. Ronald Reagan signed the Martin Luther King's holiday. Did you know that? Anyway, so George W. Bush, who didn't owe me a thing, wrote in the executive order, vice chairman, just because he could. He's the president of the United States. He's like, John Bryant is vice chairman. Just wrote it in because it was the right thing to do. And I ended up doing the work on the council. I became effectively the chief operating officer. I worked with Charles Schwab's daughter, Karen Schwab Pomerantz, who's a fantastic human being. We basically worked together because Charles was busy. Charles Schwab was running Schwab and Company and was busy, running his business. He was doing this as a favor to the country. So me and Kerry worked together to operationalize this. Janae Roscoe on my team helped me, and we killed the game, right? That's standing on business, by the way, without taking credit. First time I've said this publicly, by the way. All right, so here are the titles. I got 20 minutes to actually unpack what the whole topic of this thing was about, and hopefully I haven't wasted your time. Hopefully I've entertained you a little bit. Chief Executive Officer, write this down. The role: the CEO is the highest ranking executive in the company, responsible for the overall vision, strategy, and management of the organization. The CEO makes major corporate decisions, manages the overall operations, and acts as the main point of communication between the board of directors and the company. That's what I am. I'm CEO. I'm also chairman of the board. I'll get to that in a minute. All right. So I'm chairman of the board. I'm chief executive officer. All right. Until recently, I have a chief strategic officer, chief strategy officer, but really I'm not the chief strategist. I'd be disrespecting my chief strategy officer at Operation Hope by saying that. I'm the chief vision officer also. Responsibility: strategic vision, strategic planning. This is the CEO. Resource allocation, money. Company culture. The culture is not the most important thing in business. It's the only thing in business. I learned that from a CEO of Costco. I think he might have been a co-founder actually. And communication with stakeholders, including shareholders, government entities, the customers, and the public. Chief Operating Officer, COO. So the first one is CEO. You see these titles, no one explains to you what they are. COO. The COO oversees the day-to-day operational functions of the company, ensuring that the business runs smoothly and efficiently. The CEO often reports directly to the CEO and is second in command. Responsibilities: operations management, process optimization, implementing business strategies, and coordinating between different departments. This is the person where AI, artificial intelligence, is going to sit, by the way, as it becomes part of our world. Here's a title that often competes with CEO for prominence. These titles often sit at the same level below the CEO. It's the Chief Financial Officer. In my biggest company, my biggest organization, I have a president and CFO, a president and chief financial officer, which is a very unique combination of titles. That's Bryant, who runs Operation Hope for me, because money at financial literacy organization is extraordinarily important. So I've combined titles there. Chief Financial Officer. The CFO manages a company's financial actions. They are responsible for financial planning, risk management, record keeping, auditing, etc., budgeting, financial reporting to higher management and stakeholders, the board, CEO, etc. Responsibilities, budgeting, financial forecasting, investment analysis, ensuring compliance with financial regulations, very important, and managing financial risk. And I'll add to that audits. I love audits because audits set you free. Somebody wants you'll see me, I'm gonna do a piece on people tried to kill me in business. I'm a whole series on that. People have been trying to kill me my whole life in business. Jealousy, envy, whatever. And I built it, they want it. But they couldn't take me out because they oftentimes they'd say, oh, John's messing with the money, which just wasn't true. I was making some money. My records were always tight and right. And financial audits will set you free. Financial audits will set you free. They don't lie. I love math because it doesn't have an opinion. So watch out for that episode. Okay, then you have, this is now the next level in the C-suite. Chief Marketing Officer, CMO. And there's a president, by the way, in here. The president is right below typically the Chief Executive Officer. And the president presides over and executes on behalf of the CEO. And typically, you have a president and COO is being groomed often to become the CEO of the organization. And because you're CEO does not mean you're chairman of the board, by the way. Those are different functions. So you have a chief executive officer in most companies, that's it. You have a president of most companies, that's it. Sometimes you'll have a president and COO. Sometimes you'll have a chairman and president in, chairman and president sometimes. You often see chairman and CEO. That's big ball. That's top of the mark. The CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, leads the company's marketing initiatives, focuses on brand management, market research, product marketing, and customer outreach. Responsibilities, marketing strategy, advertising, brand development, market analysis, and customer engagement. Chief Information Officer, CIO. This is becoming even more important in this day and age. Because we live in a technology-centered world. Role, CIO is responsible for the information technology and computer systems that supports enterprise goals. This role actually might get elevated to that top C-suite I talked to you about, CEO, president, CFO, COO. You might see a CIO up there sometimes. This role involves overseeing the IT department, ensuring that the company's technology support supports its objectives, responsibilities, IT strategy, cyber security, systems management. AI will be added to this, artificial intelligence. Ensuring that technology investments align with business goals. Chief Technology Officer, CTO, which correlates with the CIO, by the way. The CTO focuses on the technological direction of the company. Well, maybe this person actually might be up there with the reports directly to the CEO and the CIO. Yeah, they both could be up there, or the CIO might flow through the CTO. Don't get confused. Just follow the titles. The Chief Technology Officer the CTO focuses on the technological direction of the company, often more on the development and innovative side compared to the CIO, who focuses on the IT infrastructure side. So you got that? So it's like the CTO is like the strategist, the technology strategist, and the CIO is a plumber, the technology plumber. They work in parallel, correlate, one can be on top of the other structurally, depending on the type of company we're talking about. The next level down is senior management. And by the way, the board of directors does not run the company. People get this confused. If you ever see a board running a company, it's a mismanaged company. The board sets the policies, the procedures, the standards for the company. Board of directors. It represents the shareholders, the stakeholders as a stakeholder group. But the board should not be running the company. You might see a title that says non-executive chairman, which means that person's a hands-off chairman. They're just doing board management. They don't want to be bothered. You can have an executive chairman who, somebody like me, who's nosy, has got his nose in everything, who is very involved in the management, but they don't, I wanted to use a word, but the word's been misused, so I can't use this word. They don't overrule. I was going to use another word, start with a T. They don't overrule the CEO, right? Unless they are the CEO. But the executive chairman it's normally consulted with all important decisions. Okay, here's the next level down, senior management levels, right? Vice president. These are corporate vice presidents, because you have many companies, like the banking industry. Really, the vice president title now is really somebody could be somebody who's running a branch, could be. But a corporate vice president who works in the corporate office is a whole different beast. They are a corporate officer of the company. VPs are senior executives who head major divisions or functions within the company, such as sales, human resources, or product development. Watch titles now that I've told you this. Watch titles, it'll all start making sense to you. They report to the C-suite executives. Responsibilities: overseeing departmental objectives, strategic planning within their division. Remember I said how a manager can confuse that they can do the whole job because there's strategic planning within their division or a group. Managing teams, ensuring that their department aligns with company objectives, right? Corporate VPs. General counsel. This is an attorney basically for the company, exclusive to the company, inside the company. I have a general counsel. The GC is the chief legal officer responsible for overseeing the legal aspects of the business. By the way, did you know that a U.S. ambassador, when assigned to a country, is effectively the president of the United States in that country? Unless the president of the United States shows up in that country, they're the president's representative in that country. That's what an ambassador is. They report to the State Department, Secretary of State. But as long as they've given the mandate, they're managing the mandate given to them by the Secretary of State, who was talking on behalf of the president, setting foreign policy. If left alone, they're the big baller shot caller in that country. All things flow with regards to the United States of America through them. All right, back to this. So, general counsel is the chief legal officer, okay, for the company. Legal responsibilities, legal strat. Are you enjoying this? Or am I putting you to sleep? As you can tell me, I'm sort of enjoying it. No one teaches you this stuff. Like, it's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, what we think we know. Here we go. Responsibilities, legal strategy, managing legal risks, ensuring compliance with laws and regulations, and overseeing the legal department. Directors. This is not a board director. This is a director within the corporation. Directors are senior managers responsible for specific functions or departments within the company, below the level of the corporate VP. They are one level below VPs and manage significant parts of the organization. Responsibilities: departmental management, resource allocation, implementing strategies set by the executive team, and reporting on departmental performance. By the way, these are for-profit and non-profit entities alike. And a lot of governments could get a lot of insight to how to manage based on what I'm saying structurally here. Middle management. Watch for these people. They're either very, 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 very good and you'll love them, or they're train wrecks and they'll make your life miserable. Managers. Role. Managers oversee specific teams or projects within a department. They are responsible for executing the strategies set by directors and senior management. And they're often left alone with budgets and responsibilities. That's why if you have a great one, my God, they'll just transform your company and make you look good. They have a bad one, whoo! So when you're dealing with somebody, in a government agency or wherever, and they're telling you off and they don't seem to care, they're a manager and they've been left alone and no one tells them anything. They're acting like they're the CEO or whatever. Responsibilities: day-to-day team management, project execution, performance reviews, and ensuring that their team meets their objectives. Project managers. I love project managers. Love project managers. I have a great one, Bill Fair, who works in my office as an example. Who's my deputy chief of staff, but he does project management amongst other things. Role, project managers are responsible for planning, executing, and closing projects with specific timelines and budgets. By the way, my executive assistant, Tina Fair, is a project manager. My travel assistant, Deborah Collins, is a project manager. My confidential assistant, Sir James, is a project manager. My chief of staff, Rachel, is a multitasking project manager. She has several titles. I think she's chief, she's executive, senior vice president. I think she's chief administrative officer. She's got another title, and then she's chief of staff to me. Yeah, she's been with me for 30 plus years. She's a baller, and she does project management still because she's paranoid, wants to make sure it's done right. But she has help now. So we got that. Did that. Entry level and associates and analysts. Role. Associates or analysts are typically entry-level positions. This is the tacticians, providing support within a department. They are often involved in data analysis, research, and administrative tasks. Responsibilities: data gathering, analysis, reporting, supporting senior team leaders, team managers, and assisting in various tasks within the department. Assistants and coordinators. Roles. These roles are typically administrative in nature, providing support to managers and executives. By the way, I've found some of my greatest leaders as administrators, as assistants, because if somebody has real talent for leadership, they're just being asked to do a task, they're going to show it. It's going to be obvious, and your job is to identify that talent and put them in the right soil and help them and just keep promoting them until they hit their Peter principle, where they're beyond their skis, so to speak, and then back them off to a level where they're comfortable doing that job. But I've had some people, like Rachel, by the way. She started as a great example. She literally started as a receptionist 32 years ago. She's now the third highest ranking person in all my organizations, balling, doing really well. Good net worth, good income, lots of responsibilities. But I just kept seeing that talent, kept seeing that talent. Lance Triggs started as a manager, and now he was a project manager, actually. Now he's probably number one. He's in the top 5, top 6 in the organization. He's president of a huge division, president of programs at Operation Hope. He's probably certainly a top 4 leader. Just great guy, Lance Triggs. His legacy is intact. So I find a lot of talent at that lower level. Scheduling, communication, document management, assisting with smooth operations of daily tasks is part of what assistants and coordinators do. Partnership structures. Okay, I'm going to do this really quick because I'm running out of time. Partners. This is like law firms and consulting firms. Okay, partners. In partnerships such as law firms or consulting firms, partners are co-owners of the firm and have a share in the profits. Did you know that? So whenever you see a partner, that's a baller. That's a business owner, so to speak. They own part of the business, they are the most senior members responsible for client acquisition and management, getting clients, and often play a significant role in the firm's strategic direction. So in a law firm, you typically don't have a CEO. You have the most senior partner, as an example. Consulting firms have migrated to a CEO function most of the time, big consulting firms. But anyway, responsibilities: client relations, business development, mentoring junior staff, and contributing to firm strategy. But at a law firm, your job is to do law, to get more clients. So it's not really all that complicated in that sense. So they can deal with just having, basically a committee of the partners who go out and hunt, right? Somebody's got to hunt. Somebody's got to hunt. Two, by the way, the difference between business and busyness. If somebody's just passing papers around and having meetings and spending money, get that person away from the checkbook as soon as possible. They're going to drive you. They're going to drive you into a ditch. You need somebody. You need somebody at the top who can execute, who sees problems that they can solve and have timelines to solve it. They manage money well. They manage budgets well. They hunt really well. They go and get the customer and drag it to the ground. Don't drag them to the ground, but and bring them into the cave, right, and club it, right? I don't mean like literally, but capitalism is a gladiator sport. You need somebody who can hunt. Junior partners, associate partners. Role: junior partners or associate partners are partners with less seniority or ownership stake. They are on the path to becoming full partners. Their responsibilities include managing client accounts, business development, and overseeing projects or teams. Senior associates, their role is they are experienced professionals who support partners in managing client work and leading projects. Their responsibilities include leading client engagement, managing junior staff, and contributing to business development. Associates, their role, associates in partnerships are typically professionals who are responsible for executing client work under the supervision of partners and senior associates. They are not owners. Responsibilities, research, analysis, drafting reports, and supporting senior team members in delivering client services. This structure ensures that responsibilities are clearly delineated, with each level accountable for specific aspects of the business's operations and strategic direction, allowing for efficient management and growth of the enterprise. Now, there's more to this. I've given you the broad swash, but who's ever told you this stuff? Like, where do you get this from? Right? So hopefully this has been helpful. Of course, you can ask me questions on social media. I'm happy to answer them in more detail. I'll go live from time to time on my book, Financial Literacy for All, and do a book club event. You can ask me even questions there. But never be ashamed of asking questions. I asked Quincy Jones, incredible genius in music, dear friend, brother. Quincy, how'd you get so smart, man? Answer, I'm just nosy as hell. I want to know everything about everything. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You listen twice as much as you talk. I'm nosy as hell. What about you? This is John Hope Bryant. Get the book, Financial Literacy for All, donated to a library or Title I school in your family's name. Get the book yourself, send a review, put a review online where you bought the book. Make sure we keep it at number 1 and number 2 across the country, as it's been for the last few months. Tell your friends about this podcast series, spread this around, pass it around. And subscribe to all my social media and go sign up to Operation Hope for our scholarship services. And if you want to support Operation Hope as a donor yourself, love and light, let's go change the world. This is the silver, right?